Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Goats Track, the podcast about golf and golf adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. It is Masters Week, one of the best weeks of the year without a shadow of a doubt. Playing a little three ball this evening. Firstly, joined by my regular second chair, I would say, JDV. Good evening. How are you?
Evening, TBag. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Nice to see you across my digital screen. And a first-time special guest joining us this evening. Some people call him Mr. Supermoo. Other people just call him a very average golfer. We know him as Dimitri. Dimi, welcome to the Go Track, my man.
Hello, boys. Thanks for having me. Delighted to be here, even if here is just my kitchen. But virtually to be with you, Oaks, in KZN. Yeah, massive fan of the show. Absolutely stoked to be a part of it. So shy.
A lot of you might recognize Dimi's voice from the introduction of our podcast from last week, which was our Live Golf wrap up. And Dimi, that was quite a little motivational 1 minute you gave us at the start of that podcast. I mean, just going into it, how you and I met, literally we met in the media center at Live Golf, and we sort of became known as the legendary front row in the Live Golf media room. Yes, myself, you, and Mr. Kopinski. Talk me through sort of the week that you had at Live and kind of the stuff that we got up to a little bit, and you know, why do you think we got such great responses from the players that week with some of the questions that we asked?
It's still kind of surreal. I mean, first things first, it's not the only legendary front row I've ever been a part of, which might surprise you. St. Albans College second team 2012. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think when we met, I had a plate full of hash browns and scrambled eggs in front of me. You and Ben obviously knew each other, being kind of stalwarts of the golf ecosystem in South Africa, and something I've just kind of watched from afar for a while. You know, like I'm a sports nut first, and I guess like golf forms a massive part of that. But I was lucky enough to be there with you, and obviously we got on pretty quickly from the get go. I think mainly just because of our love for the game, and also kind of the pinch me factor of Live. It was like, you know, I think I spoke to a mate who only saw it on telly, and he said even through the telly you could feel, you know, just how enormous that the scale of that event was, you know, not just infrastructure wise, but emotionally and from a sports point of view in South Africa, it was ridiculous. And I think what was cool about our little trio, and shout out Ben on the bounce, I mean, one of the, like I said, stalwarts of the game. He's just been kind of quietly chipping away for years and years and years, and honestly, like a master of his craft at this point. Mm-hmm. But I think the three of us were super focused on the human angle. Like that whole week, look, the Super M and the Sterry Stumpy thing was obviously cool, and unfortunately, in some ways, I think it looked like it was a stunt. But you were there. It was a genuinely kind of natural thing that I wanted to bring across. And I think the overarching theme of that is that we knew Oaks were going to ask about Kikuyu Rough. We knew they were going to speak about altitude. We knew, you know, like we've heard enough golf questions. And I think like we had the Rolls Royce of international golf in front of us, not just in Bryson, but in John Rahm and Cam Smith. Like, why would we ask them questions that we know the answers to? I think is the main thing. And I think everyone knows the golfers, but a chance to kind of get the Oaks and even give the players the chance, the platform to speak about themselves in a way that they don't necessarily get to. I think that's why they received it so well. It was obvious that we knew our stuff, I think. And I reckon they're probably tired of talking about what's in the bag. I reckon they're tired of talking about chopping out of stuff and playing to safety when they're in a lie that they don't recognize, you know. So I think we went in with solid insight and good intentions, and it translated super well. It was just a bloody good time.
Yeah, tell us about your round today. I think they've heard that question a couple of times. Yeah. And I think, from my perspective, I think we were sort of like positioning ourselves to say, okay, we've got these guys in front of us. Let's just ask them a slightly, off topic question. And when you saw how they physically reacted to the questions on stage, I think that told you a lot about how interested they were in answering particular questions. You saw guys actually like leaning forward in their chair, listening to Ben's question, yourself, myself, and it was really cool. And I think I think the players appreciated it.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and I really hope we see more of that stuff, not just necessarily from ourselves, but I really wish journalists in general, just we're a little bit more real. I know sometimes players are a bit more guarded, and maybe they want to just, there's some players who are happy just to go through the metronome of answering the easy questions and get off the stage. But how lucky were we that we had a guy like Bryson DeChambeau, who's just the most forthright, interesting dude who seemed happy to sit there and chat for ages, and we literally got him 4 days in a row. So yeah, it was super cool, man, and it was a fun time. I chatted to somebody, a non-golfer this week, JDV, who came up to me and he said, he was like, "How was the live golf thing on site?" So I said, "Oh, it was amazing, obviously, whatever." He said, "I never ever watched golf, and me and my kids were like totally locked in on that Sunday to watching it on TV." He said, like, he said it just looked so epic. And that says a lot, for someone who will flick past golf at the earliest opportunity they can on Supersport. He says they watched like at least the last 2 hours without sort of like leaving the lounge. So, that tells you a lot about kind of how the product comes across for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys?
I think one of the questions that sort of I was asked was, and we did obviously touch on it at the wrap up, but I said it was such a weird mix because even having been to quite a lot of these golf tournaments, this was very different from, it was like it's like a music festival with like the best golfers also there. And yeah, it sounds like that showed out on TV as well, but I still wonder, that in-person experience was so incredible. And it is good to hear that it sort of was picked up on the TV side. I think when we did the SA Open recap and we sort of shat on Stellenbosch Country Club from a dizzy height, from how it sort of wasn't showing out on TV, or at least the golf course. And you said, well, the in-person experience, wasn't that. Where I think, with Liv, the feedback that sort of I've heard is that the in-person and then on TV experience sort of matched each other in terms of energy and the thrill ride that it was.
Yeah, it helps having a couple thousand people lining fairways to get your attention on TV, and it also helps that the golf course looked like a TV golf course, I would say.
The camera crew did a good job of tightening in where they needed to tighten in, because some of the backdrop in four ways is not exactly no offense, four ways, except complete offense for four ways. They did. I mean, broadcast wise as well, because I mean, for me, it's like I go to a Springbok match or I go watch a cricket game, and the first thing I do when I get home is watch the TV version, right? Because you get kind of caught up in the moment at a stadium. And I did the same thing with Liv. I came back every night and watched the sort of package, and I was like, Jesus, that's Stain City, They showed out. They showed out in every way.
Demi, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, and on a more serious note, and please, you can reveal as much and as little as you like. But when you and I were walking around Liv together on one of the days, you told me that golf saved your life.
Yeah.
Just tell me a little bit about kind of what you meant, and where do you find yourself with the game of golf now?
Like it certainly saved a part of my life, and that a part of my life was super competitive sort of backgrounds in sports at school, and I think even JDV and I spoke about this at Liv. It was like, even if you're a weekend warrior, the golf and the competitive nature, even if it's just against yourself, is like something that when I finished school and just kind of dived headfirst into work, I lost such a big part of that. I lost, you're waking up on Saturday morning with butterflies in your tummy. And obviously that's different at school when you hear the rugby boots walking down the hall, that feeling of, okay, cool, today I've got to wake up and have a crack at something. And I think there was so many years of limbo between when I started working and when I started golfing, where I just had this massive sports-shaped chunk in my soul that was just, it was not there. And like, you're not going to kind of go and join a rugby team when you haven't taken contact in 10 years. You're not going to go and play 50 overs of cricket on a Sunday because, yeah, you're just not. But then I found my golf club. I found Parkview, and I'd stayed away from golf for so long because, I mean, I grew up with a Greek dad that didn't like what golf clubs stood for. He didn't like the sort of Anglo Afrikaans gatekeeping environment as somebody who didn't grow up in South Africa, and when he moved to Pretoria, didn't necessarily get treated particularly well by, I guess, people that represented those spaces. So, you know, like, I always saw golf as an environment that was too exclusive and not, and that, I mean, I still grew up really privileged and went to private schools, and, you know, I was behind that curtain in other ways, but golf was a space where I was just kind of raised to think, you know, those aren't our people. Those aren't our places. And I think I found it when I needed to. There's a part of me that wishes, like, man, I wish I started when I was 9, because I'd be awesome at it now. That's not how golf works, unfortunately. But
yeah, I can tell you, I started at 9 and I'm not awesome at it.
I think I found it when I need to. It grounded me in a community of people that, like, you know, at work you have your mates and you find your people in those spaces, and obviously you have your friends, but there's nothing like a real sports community, you know, like, and it's such an individual game, but it's actually so much more than that at a club level, you know. So it pulled me back into that part of my life that I really missed. It proved me wrong because I didn't buy it. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was a place for me, but it certainly saved a part of my life that loves to compete, that loves to belong, that loves to, you know, dress nicely, put on a uniform like you used to do at school. You know, there's that whole ritual behind tucking the shirt in and doing those sorts of things. So I'm glad I found it. I'm really glad I found it. And I don't see a version of my life where golf is not a massive part of it anymore, for sure.
Yeah, it's sorry, and I mean, I didn't want to go like too deep into it, but it's so cool. When you were talking about it to me at Live, I wanted to ask you about it on the podcast because when I remember when JDV and I and you know, some of the other guys, we were talking about starting this podcast, we knew that there were like really great, just like very normal people golf stories in South Africa. Like it's part of like the tapestry of our golf, and we love talking about golf courses, and we love, you know, we'll talk about the Masters now, and, you know, we'll talk about Louis whatever failures of the tee and all that sort of stuff. But I think deep down we actually just wanted to really dig around and find cool South African like golf stories and people, and we've met so many interesting people through doing this podcast, and it's been really great to meet you and to hear that side of, you know, kind of how you've used it, you know, moving from a competitive sports environment and how it filled that void. And I think you see that with a lot of, like, I'm going to say like professional sports people, but just generally competitive sports people as well. And I guess for some people, they've found that like a sport like paddle is doing that for them now, which I think is great. But yeah, for a lot of people, golf has filled that space, and I think it does different things for everyone. You know, some people really are deep into the, you know, the competitive side, and that some people somebody like me, I'm really into like the travel side of golf. You know, I just want to, all I want to do is just like experience new golf courses, new places. I just want to talk about them. I want to read about them. So, no, it's cool. But and I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing that. It was cool to hear that side of the story. And I know you and JDV related quite well on the competitive golfing side as well, because nobody loves a competitive match more than Mr. De Villiers there.
I do. I like it more. I swear I like it more.
Nothing gets the juices flowing like a super competitive low stakes. When I say low stakes, like, I mean, you think about, we're going to talk about the Masters and what it means for these players and the and the nerves that they get. And, we can still, as an amateur, go out there and your club champs or in your monthly mug. And, like you still probably are, like, I think you're still feeling a similar feeling to what those pros get. If you're in the mix coming down the stretch, you might not have like thousands of people watching you, but you shit yourself. And you like, that's why I think like watching these big tournaments, where it's not the day-to-day events that these pros are playing. And it's relatable when the guys like, go down the stretch and just shit the bed. And you're like, yeah, we've been there. Yeah. I know that.
I've done that when I'm 13 over through 12. Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, JDV, because I've got the young Tom Morris coming up in like 10 days' time next weekend. And I'm already thinking about the first tee shot because, like, guys crowd around there. And if you're one of the first groups off, it's nerve-wracking, bro. I mean, you remember what my first tee shot was like just with Ben on camera the other day at Gowrie.
It was a thing to behold.
Luckily, Ben was filming me from the front, not from behind, and you couldn't see that the ball only went about 12 meters.
Well, I'm playing a knockout at Parkview tomorrow, individual knockout against a 21 handicap, which, as a middle handicap is one of the most daunting things ever. Because a 21 handicap can shoot 31 over, but he could also arrive and shoot a 15 over, which has me dead to rights, so I walked around this afternoon, just a little solo 9-hole to plot my way around this course against a 50-something-year-old oak who's probably going to arrive 2 Stellas deep and spank me anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like these, showing up for things that matter. And I think that what golf did is like it just gave me a little bit more of like, it gave me something to chase again in so many ways, personally, sports-wise, and flipping hell, I'm so happy I found it. Really, yeah. Anyways, before we start crying,
guys, for everyone listening, I promise you we are going to get onto Masters content. This is a classic curveball that JD we normally throw ourselves at the start of these episodes. But listen, guys, can I offer you a moment of meditation, Dimi and JDV? Can you guys just close your eyes? And those of you listening in the car, just
don't close your eyes.
Don't close your eyes in the car. But just come with me on this journey, okay? Here we are. The camera's slowly panning in to Amen Corner. The azaleas are blooming. Jim Nance is edging up to the microphone.
Birds being popped in.
Popped in birds are chirping. Fucking hell, guys, it's the best week of the year. Let's go.
Fighting tears, eh?
Guys, after last year,
are we just gonna leave this song playing like throughout now? Is this just the soundtrack?
Like this the whole time.
This is the whole podcast. We're gonna have this. Just picture Charlie Hoffman has just shot 65.
Aaron Rise in the mix.
Guys, after last year, I promised myself I wouldn't go too hard too soon on the Masters content. Last year I famously went very hard very soon on Masters content, and I had a bit of a burnout on Thursday and Friday. But flip oaks, I've watched the umbrellas being opened, I've watched the champions dinner being prepared, the slow-mo videos of the grass being cut, and I think I might have shed a little tear hearing Rory describe every shot of his win last year on the Masters YouTube channel. So I think I might have failed the game. JDV, what has piqued your interest in the build-up to the Masters this year?
Well, Terence, I'm genuinely, is the music just going to play throughout the episode? Or is this like accidentally left on?
I'm just going to play you off.
And as we
but if you talk for too long, I'm going to play you off again.
Turn it back up again.
It's like the Oscars.
I'd like to thank God.
Flip. I honestly, I think having a 3-year-old toddler running around, I don't get to.
Oh God, jeez.
3-year-old toddler. You're out.
Don't mention kids during the
It
Masters,
wasn't
please.
loud enough, really.
No, but I haven't like binged. I think like I have in previous years, in terms of
Well
like
done.
the content coming up. And it is like it's almost like snuck up on me a bit, this Masters.
Oh, you're in a good place then.
And yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna flick it on Thursday. I'm playing a squash tournament, and the matches finish quite late, which is great because yeah, you don't want to be getting back after a match and you're sort of wired, and then you can sit back and sort of take in the Masters. I do think those, as you said, the burnout. Yes, if you had a couple of beers or whatever, and you're sitting there and that like soothing music plays, you can also find yourself sort of sinking into the couch. But yeah, I think I'm really hoping for a lot of. Sorry, I've just been handed a chocolate. I must say I'm hoping to see some
Easter
South
Bunny's
Africans
still
in the
operational.
mix. Having a look at 3 South Africans in the mix, I think I'm most excited to see who takes it. I mean, I know I've listened to some.
JDB's out.
I think
I'm out. There we go. I'm back.
we might have lost you there, Roo. Might have been the mention of that squash tournament.
I played myself out. Okay. Well, let me stop rambling. What are you most excited for?
I think that's the Augusta committee, bro. They heard that you haven't gone deep enough into their content yet, and they're just sending you a quick blackout message.
Your personally assigned CIA agent just got your feed there.
Dimi, what's piqued your interest? What's got you excited heading into Masters 26?
I think just the anybody's game aspect, Drew. I think more so than the last little while. I think obviously we'll get into data golf and all the sorts of things that point towards who should win according to tee to green and strokes gained and all that wonderful stuff that you hear in press conferences. But I genuinely feel that there's more of an anybody's game kind of vibe going into this than there has been for the last little while. I'm backing a first-time winner. I'm feeling somebody new. I'm wanting somebody new, if that's fair to say. I think if you look at, obviously Rory had his masterpiece, and a lot of people were waiting for Rory's masterpiece. And that's awesome. He's done it. There's a documentary about it now, and I even did a little piece of content yesterday about his shot-by-shot parody.
That was great. Watching your shot-by-shot. I honestly thought the chip-in was... I thought it was a chip-in because I saw your video before that. I was like, well, here, finish it with a chip-in.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel sometimes, bro. But anybody's game. I think there is a genuine shot that somebody could go for the first time. I'm going to open up with who I want to win and not talk about who I think will win. I really want Justin Rose to win a green jacket. I have just fallen more and more in love with Rosie and his approach to the game over the past couple of years. Man is a physical specimen for his age. It's ridiculous, the commitment to his rig, the commitment to his game, and just walking in putts with his chest out is like, I don't know. There's so much about Rosie that I resonate with that I would love to see I'd love to see the boy do it.
And Dimi, in your WhatsApp communication with Bryson, how's he feeling going into the week?
Pretty pumped, bro. I had to mute him, actually. It was getting a bit much. His meme game is weak, man. I don't know, stickers I've seen before and gifs that aren't funny anymore. But I mean, the conspiracy theorists, I mean, there's that thing floating around on Instagram. The last time this person won, they were 9th in this stat and 8th in this stat. And this year, Bryson is 9th in this and 8th in that. So, look, I think the dude is on a generational run, but he's had that sort of form before. 2020 was an unbelievable sort of. He even spoke at Live about that being the peak of his powers, and I don't think he's far off that at the minute. I voice noted him when I was on the road yesterday. He still hasn't gotten back to me, but how's it, Bryce? Sorry for the voice notes. I'm just driving, but I reckon from a self-belief point of view, there's nobody out there that backs himself more than that right now.
What was that thing you did with the U-Haul and he picked up his caddy? I don't know if you guys caught that. It was It
I
was a bit
saw it, yeah.
strange.
Yeah, he is odd, bro. Like he genuinely is, and I think that's part of his magic. Hey, like I think he's just so focused on parts of the game that folks aren't even considering. But in a weird way, I think that also might be a little bit, sort of distracting. I think like guys who've won at Augusta will always go in with that edge, the course management bit, the winners know how to win bit, and I think that little, chip on Bryson's shoulder, he's either going to dip it in some guacamole and eat it, or it's going to keep weighing him down. So I think you top three or proper trouble is my call on Bryson.
He's such a talented golfer that he can play with basically like 3D printed golf clubs, and play the game in a way that like it's just completely absurd to almost anyone else who would try and follow like his mentality, whether it's just the way he engages with the public or the way he has his own YouTube channel. And like he for most people that would be the biggest distraction in the world, and it seems to be the complete opposite for Bryson. It's like it's actually what like feeds him. And he's a complete freak, man. He's a one of one, that guy. And I've got so I'll tell you guys just on my side, like what I guess what's piqued my interest. I think last time JDV, you and I were talking about holes, and we wanted to see the 13th hole, how it played. And I'm kind of good on the architecture stuff, and that I've done a lot of stuff around that for Augusta in the past. I did have to laugh yesterday, guys. I was playing Tiger Woods on my Xbox with my son, who's like 11. Okay. And I said to him, come, let's play the back nine at Augusta, because it's like build up to the Masters, So I chose to play with Jordan Spieth. My son chooses to play with Patrick Cantlay, JDV.
Why did he choose Patrick Cantlay?
Play the music.
I have no idea. The poor oak just doesn't have any taste. And anyway, we're standing on.
Yeah, I was about to say on 12. I hope you recreated 12 for Jordan Spieth.
I did think about it. But we're on the 10th hole, and my son he hits driver, but he hits it. The 10th hole's like you got to hit like a big hook. It's like a big draw, and he just hits a bomb straight drive, and then he's like, "Oh, what the hell? Why is it going in the trees? This is such rubbish. I hit like a perfect drive." So I said to him, "No, boy, this is the 10th hole at Augusta. You've got to hit like a big draw on this hole." And he was like, "Well, how do you know that?" And I was like, "Well, I've kind of watched this tournament for like 30 years." And it actually dawned on me, it's kind of ridiculous how much you know that golf course from like having watched so many, especially the back nine at Augusta. And I must say, the game is super realistic in terms of the contours, and it's actually a little bit of a cheat code to like do a bit of a preview of Augusta is to play it. So yeah, I had quite good fun. I did put my son away on like the 15th hole. That was always a pleasure. Yeah,
you got to give him 5 and 4.
How realistic was it? Did Patrick Cantlay take like 2 minutes to pull the trigger on every shot, even on the game?
Was it like a 3.5 hour 9-hole Xbox?
100%. I said to my son, I was like, "You can't take 17 practice swings, boy." He was like, "It's not me." And then I realized he'd chosen Cantlay. It's obviously an auto setting on the game that Cantlay just does that.
Was he also not wearing a hat in protest against Xbox's right?
No, but also, guys, they've been showing some Masters reruns on TV. And, I realized the Masters is at its best when there are like 4 to 5 guys in contention on the back nine on Sunday. I mean, that sounds obvious, but it really is it's really unbelievable. And that's what makes some of the best Masters. They had Patrick Reed's win in 2018 on TV, which was actually a cracking Masters, because there were so many guys in the mix there coming down the stretch. And then the following year, Tigers win as well. Obviously, you had guys collapsing on themselves at 12. And I mean, it really was a tight Masters, that one as well. And then obviously Rory last year. So I think mostly I'm just hoping that we don't get a blowout, or like a real bummer of a winner, like a real sort of slightly unknown chap. I quite like a sort of a chase scenario where someone starts with like a 3 or 4 shot lead, and you just watch the field kind of hunt him down on the Sunday. So if we could throw in some sort of dramatic collapse on aim and corner, that would be great as well. And for me, I want at least 4 of the following guys to be involved in the back nine on Sunday. So these are my guys who I like watching. I find them entertaining. And there's a couple of villains in here. There's a few guys who aren't villains. But so for me, the guys are Rahm, Rory, Bryson, Spieth, Patrick Reed, Ludwig, Tommy Fleetwood, Scotty, and then I threw Sahith Theegala in here. I kind of feel like Sahith Theegala could be a really spicy. He's an interesting guy to watch play golf. He's got some speed attributes as well. He's wild off the tee, but hits great recovery shots. He just feels like he could have a run at the Masters. And then obviously if we could see Casey Jarvis flash his name up there, JDV, what a pleasure to see our golden boy on the hello turf. That's kind of what I'm hoping for when it comes to Sunday, is some sort of hunting down of a leader, and then some sort of, like 4-5 man playoff, or not playoff, but 4-5 man sort of duel coming down those last few holes.
I don't reckon a blowout is actually possible, to be honest with you. I think that the game of golf is so tight at the top at the moment, and the way that course is set up, I don't think it allows for runaways. Maybe how it used to. Like, obviously, everyone is talking about Scotty's reign of terror, and man shows up on big occasions. But I reckon that a hunted situation is more likely than a blowout. It's funny.
Yeah.
We love the game of golf. We want it to get bigger, but not big enough that an unknown wins the Masters, because that would be lame. But I reckon I hate the fact that you want Patrick Reed in the race. Although I've warmed to him a little bit more since.
No, he's the villain. You see, him and almost maybe even Rahm are kind of in the villain roles.
I can't get over how I understand that Rahm's kind of contentious wheeler dealer negotiator vibes at the moment, but in the press conferences he's just a bruh, and he's a bruh. He's really good at his stuff. So this whole villain thing of John Rahm, I think that's lame. I'd love to watch him win it again.
But a villain for who? Because I look at Patrick Reed and I agree with you. I think Patrick Reed was, you see some of the shenanigans he's had with bending the rules, should we say? But then he comes out, he leaves Live, he plays the European Tour, the DP World. He plays SA Open, he plays the Joburg Open. For all intents and purposes, he's fully embraced. Certainly come to South Africa. Like, for me, the guys who come and play in South Africa and the guys who play tournaments, Patrick Reed's played a number of tournaments on DP. I think he's a villain to the Americans, but I mean, I would almost be saying I'd definitely be rooting for Patrick Reed if he was in the mix against Americans who refuse to set foot outside of their country to play golf anywhere else.
Would you
other
say
than
that
if it's the British Open?
Steve Smith and David Warner, if they go and play, and So look, Patrick Reed's on a great redemption arc for sure, but enough for me to be chuffed that he puts on a jacket. I'm not there.
You're not there yet.
Shot for coming to Houghton, but I don't know if I'm all the way there.
But then you've also got people like Bryson, who possibly are a villain for some people. Again, you look at some of the South African players. I guarantee you, if the South Africans are in the mix, the American media are going to shit themselves. They're going to be saying, "Oh, this is so crap. It's an unknown person." And I think if you look at it through that lens of nationalities, there probably are some lesser known people or lesser known golfers. But if you're in that country, I mean, you've got the whole country egging you on. And I suppose that's where you got to stretch your mind and get your head around, trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes. When Charles Schwartzel won the Masters as a South African, it was flipping nuts. And then you listen to the Americans talk about it, and it's a bit of a random, not the greatest Masters. Exactly. And I think in that sense, whoever the winner is, there is certainly going to be a storyline. It might not be the storyline that, I want to say the mainstream media is going to button onto and is going to be thrilled about. But there's a storyline there for a country or for a person, and you know, someone's villain is someone else's hero, I think, in these situations.
Okay, fine, mate. Okay, I'm fine with Patrick winning it. I think I'm not sure, but I want to ask you Oaks quickly because I had this one in the chamber. Who would make you the saddest if they won? Who's the number one Oak? Like if you put the jacket on, both of you, that you'd be absolutely livid.
Patrick Cantlay playing.
Beautiful.
I don't really like Colin Morikawa either. I don't really want to see him in a green jacket.
No.
Yeah, if I look through the top sort of 30 guys, those are the two guys that jump out to me. Probably those two.
I mean, Ethan Fang, I'd be pretty bleak if he won. Actually, I wouldn't be too bleak because amateur winning the Masters would be pretty sick.
Just a quick note, Demi. You know, you talk about blowouts, but you know, the Masters last year was obviously a tight affair with the Rose Rory playoff. But the 3 years before that, we had 2022 Scheffler won by 3 shots, 23 Rahm won by 4 shots, and 24 Scheffler won by 4 shots. So the Masters last year was actually one of the better ones. Not just because Rory won, but it was also just because it was legitimately a very tight affair as well. You have to go back to Hideki in 21 for it to be a tight-ish Masters. So I agree with you, though, given the depth of the field. Look, let's really hope that we do get that scenario. Guys, let's move on to our Masters player draft. Demi, I'm going to just quickly run you through the draft format. I'm sure you're aware of you know how the draft format works. We'll do a randomized picking order, and then essentially we've got 5 categories for you to draft players from. So we've got the top 10 players as they appear on the Golf Champs websites. We've got a past champion category. We've got a player from the Southern Hemisphere. We've got a left-hander player. And then we've got a player that is 50 or above on the Golf Champs ranking. So there's 5 categories.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
And essentially we will start whoever draws first, and then the person who is last, they get to the pick snake back, so they get to make another pick, and then it goes backwards back to the first person. Cool. So it's pretty easy. And guys, hopefully the way we've tried to do this is hopefully that it kind of maybe helps guys with some of their Golf Champs picks as well, because particularly that above 50 category, I think that's often where guys are looking for some value, a value play to try and get themselves over the line from Golf Champs. So yeah, hopefully guys, also please just a note, join our Go Track Golf Champs pool. There's 2 pools actually. There's one just for the Go Track members, but we also have a pool which you can sign up to on the Golf Champs website pretty easily. Otherwise, become a member of the Go Track by following the link on Instagram and join up there. So without further ado, JDV, do you want to do a quick randomized order for us? Have you got access to the randomizer machine there?
Sure, I could get one. I'm having a look. So, yeah, I mean, you get to pick one of each. So I suppose if you're the number one, you can also pick your category that you're picking it in. Eh? So I'm just trying to game this out here.
Yeah, you can start in any category you like, which could be quite important because there's some categories that are a little bit shallow.
Yeah, that over 50 list is not as long as you might like it to be.
The lefties. All right. I'm going to spin here. Okay, wait. Click to spin. All right.
Do you want some music? Because I can organize that for you.
Yes. I feel like I know this.
Give us your best
Demi,
Jim voice.
Number one.
Read out the order. First pick, Demi.
Master.
First is Demi, then it will be JDV, then Terence. It wasn't a great Jim Nance voice. I don't know.
This is pretty awful Jim Nance voice. Okay, Dimitri, you have first pick.
What category?
Any category. It's
so
your choice.
You can. That's the beauty of the first pick is you can steal one of the categories.
You have to obviously fill all the categories. by the
Right,
end.
so I'm going to keep with golf.
Sorry, T, we're battling to hear Demi over the. There we go.
Pipe the orchestra down.
Okay, I'm going to go with golfers 50 plus because I
Okay,
think that
interesting.
a short and right 50 years of age, right? Or
No, it's
I
not.
know.
It's
I'm joking.
But
not
also,
50
this
years of
is
age. It's
this
above
is whiffs of half
50
when he
rank
made his
on
pick.
golf champs.
I know. I'm going with left-handers first with Robert McIntyre.
Okay.
That is interesting.
Jeez, I didn't see that.
Why not?
I must honestly, I looked at that and I was like, yeah, maybe I should try and do exactly what
lefty.
you've just done. And I was like, but that would be absolutely nuts not to take Scotty Scheffler as the number one pick. So I'm gonna take him.
This is a half tucky situation here when
100%. That's what as you were
when Hoff
talking
took
about the other
Sea
categories.
Bears as the first pick of our entire major championship history.
Sorry, guys, was this a session about critiquing each other's picks, or are we?
100% critiquing.
Yeah. So Bobby Mack, I'll tell you what, like at Valero, Texas was hot. I know he's not a Masters champ. I just like Scotsman, and I went with the passion pick, boys. You can do your stat stuff as much as you like, but I did pretty well in the live media room for speaking from my heart, and I'm going to continue with that. So thank you
Also,
very much, Bobby Mack.
There's not a lot of left-handers, so it's good to get a good one when you start.
Sorry, Waggle King Brian Harmon, but I've got Bob Mack.
So I, honestly, if I'm gonna pick my like sleeper to win, seriously, Bob Mack was, and I've really put a bet on him actually, because I think a lefty in form around Augusta is a great pick. I don't know if he'd be my first pick if I've got options of everyone at even odds. I'm gonna take Scotty Scheffler. I'm gonna pull a tucky on
Which
this
category?
one, and he's my pick. And I'm gonna pick him in. Well, I can only pick him in one category, can't I?
No, you can pick him in top 10 or
I'm gonna
past
pick him
champion.
in past champions.
Sorry, X, this is notebook time. Just give me a sec.
I think that's pretty wise, JDV.
It's critical. This is critical.
Okay,
Scotty. How boring.
cool. So Scotty's off the board and Bobby Mack is off the board. Okay, so I've got two picks now, guys. I am gonna take in past champion. I'm gonna take John Rahm, my first pick. And then my second pick. So this is tempting because I'm tempted to go and get the only other lefty that I would want to pick.
Mike Weir.
Or is that player Matt McCarthy? Is he a lefty?
I think he's ambidextrous.
Really?
What's it? I think he's.
We're not supposed to do your research beforehand, or is it like?
You know what? I know this is gonna be a sucker punch blow, and that's probably exactly why I'm gonna do it, Demi.
Oh,
But I'm gonna take Bryson in top 10.
that's fine.
And,
cool, enjoy.
I'm sure he'll understand when he gets your 5-minute voice notes about it. But yeah, I'm going to take Bryson and Rahm. If I can take those two guys as being the third pick, I'm very happy.
My dad told me never do business with your best friends, so I wasn't going to choose Bryson anyway. So, okay.
So it's to me now, eh?
Correct. It snakes backwards.
It's you. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the other lefty then, and I'm going to take Akshay.
Yeah, I like that. Like that.
Yeah, that
Gosh.
was, I mean,
Golf swing that, hey? My goodness.
it was always the risk of being last on the lefties as I was going to have to really scratch down the board. Akshay is, I was going to say, both these lefties, Bob Mack and Akshay, have really raised their game in the last 6 months.
Properly.
I don't know if you guys heard, I saw a podcast recently with the Fried Egg guys and Bones, Jim Bones Mackay, Phil's old caddy, and he was saying there's no golf course that sets up better for a left-hander than Augusta National. He said a lot of the difficult shots at that course are much easier for left-handers than right-handers, which is super interesting. Who was the last lefty to win, guys?
Bubba Watson.
He's still available. I must just remind myself that.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like stone last at Live South Africa?
I think he was,
Or second. Second
he was
last.
outside the top 40, which is always tough on Live.
Yeah. All
Demi,
right. So
you've got 2 picks.
Yeah, I've got 2 picks. I'm just trying to be smart tactically. I went passion. I might revert back to data. I'm going to go with a past champ for my next pick. And I am going to choose. So Scotty's off the board, obviously. I'm going to choose Hideki Matsuyama, past champ. There's my call.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's supposed
Good
to
player.
be. If you'd, I just think, winners win, and he's due. I've got some Hideki feelings at the moment, and I think he's due. He's not looking awful, but like approach shot wise, he knows the course unbelievably well. He's an incredibly disciplined player, but he has to get off to a flyer to have a chance. So if day one Hideki doesn't cook, then it's over. I'm going to go straight from Hideki into a Southern Hemisphere pick, which is one of the criteria, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And my Southern Hemisphere pick is Adam Scott.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Past champ. Also, 53 in the rankings. So I think for me, it was more about taking him away from your weaker sort of prize pools as well and using him in one that I preferred. So he's got past champ, he's got over 50, and he's got Southern Hemisphere, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was more of a so you can't get him pick than me actually wanting him. And I think I'm quite happy with setting that up that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Thank you.
The Southern Hemisphere category is pretty interesting because the guys are pretty spread across the board, huh? They're quite thin at the top in the sort of top 20. I think there's only one guy in the top 20, and then after that, there's not a mass amount of guys. I mean, as far as I understand, Neiman isn't in the field, huh? Yeah, he didn't qualify.
No.
So he got an invite last year, from what I remember, and they aren't doing special invites this year. So you sort of locked into probably an Aussie or a Safa or a Kiwi.
I was going to say,
there's probably a Kiwi on the board that's might be interesting as well.
Yeah, genuinely quite an interesting looking at that chap. If we aren't naming names, I guess.
So a question here: Can I pick? I can't pick Ludwig because he's at 11 in golf champs, and I have to pick a top 10. Is that correct, Terence?
Yeah,
correct.
That's correct. Unless he's got dual nationality with like Botswana or something that we don't know about.
Okay, I'm gonna go. This might not be my. I'm gonna try and fill up my below 50 roster quickly here, and I'm gonna take Gary Woodland.
Shot,
okay.
Mate. Shot.
Okay.
I like that a lot. The argument obviously does lightning strike twice. Huge romantic W for Gaz last week or a week before that, for sure. Ball striking is like it's on a different level at the minute. But let's see. I love that pick, to be honest. I do, but
because I think it's going to get quite dire for you guys on that below 50 mark.
Mind your business, pal.
I think I saw some names down there that I'm comfortable teeing off with. I tell you which category is giving me a few heart palpitations is Southern Hemisphere, to be honest with you. It's a little bit scratchy, guys. But you know what? I'm going to go with a player. I am going to go Southern Hemisphere now because, look, lefty's done. I'm going to just pick up the dregs there. I'm going to go with a player who finished in the top 10 last year at the Masters. He is a major champion as well. And he loves wearing a fucking funky outfit.
Ian Poulter.
I think you know who I'm going for. The man with the birds on his back, Mr. Jason Day.
I think that's a good
He is my Southern Hemisphere pick.
That was my runner-up choice.
So, Jason Day. Guys, we're going to agree. Basically, the winner of this will be voted on by our users on Instagram, or is it going to be a dollar? There'll be a dollar winner and like a winner of the people winner. How do you guys feel about that, JDV? Do you want data to drive the winner?
I want data to drive the winner. I want to know. I want to be sweating on an Akshay putt on Sunday.
Hey, it's going to be a phone cut at Cotswold Downs on Saturday. If we're going to get some good content out of this, boys, I want Oaks in the comments roasting me for my bad picks. I want them praising Terence for his good ones. I think we can have, let's skin it both ways. People's chat.
Yeah, I think we'll have a people's winner. And we can do a dollar value winner at the end as well for fun. But I think it's an eye test thing, this, JDV.
And what does the winner and the loser have to do? I feel like the loser should do some sort of a forfeit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that's a great thing to put into the comments. Tell us what the forfeit is. I saw one by the way, in my fantasy football league, just to digress really quickly, the loser has to enlist in the South African army. So that's
cheapers.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm setting the bar. I have full faith that I won't take the L, but maybe the Goat Track fans can decide
which one of us enlists.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So we can.
I'll work in the mess hall, bro. I'm chilled.
We can put it to the Goat Track users as to what they think the best forfeit would be, and we can maybe agree as a group on which one we like.
Yeah.
Before we put it to a vote.
TBag, do you have another pick?
I do.
Before it comes to me.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. Okay, let's have a look. We're looking at above 50. Guys, I'm actually feeling quite comfortable about this one. I am going to take in above 50. I'm going to take Brooks Koepka.
Yeah. Oof, that's good. Damn it. I didn't even see that.
Is it good? Is that good, eh?
Do you think he's going to flame out?
I think it's going to be categorically one of the poorest Masters showings from anybody.
I love that.
I think that oak is so mentally dead and like peering back over the fence at Liv saying, oh my gosh, why wasn't I in Joburg? Why didn't like I do not see that working for you, Terence or T-Bag. I think you fucked the bus there, but anyway.
So awesome. Brooks Koepka currently ranked second in strokes gained approach on the PGA Tour.
Cool, awesome.
I'm kind of okay with that pick.
Cool, man.
I think I'm fine with that. I'm very happy with that. He's a major champ. He's a major player, old Brooks. So I'm comfortable having him amongst the above 50s. And then that's me done. Well, that's not me done. But we're heading back to you, JDV.
I have got a heart versus mind pick here. My mind's telling me for my Southern Hemisphere pick to pick Minwoo Lee, who is the highest ranked Southern Hemisphere player in golf champs. But my heart is also telling me that the three of us can't pick bloody Aussies as our Southern Hemisphere favorite.
That's fair.
Being three South Africans. So with that in mind, I'm going to be taking the golden boy, Casey Jarvis.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you, JDV.
Massive fan of your work, bud. I just
Thank you, JDV.
It's inspired.
That's going to win a lot of votes on people's votes. I can tell you right now.
That also came into my mind is that I also am pushing hard for the People's Champion.
Yeah.
I thought for a second you were going to say AP. I thought you were going to go there, but I'm glad you went with the golden boy. Thank you.
Honestly, let's quickly talk about top South African. I think Charles Schwartzel's out of it. I think any semblance of back that he used up in Joburg.
Yeah.
So you've basically got Aldrich versus Casey, and I just think you've got to have some sort of a deft touch around those greens. and Eldrick just does not seem like he's the most comfortable with the with the little chippy ones around the greens.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a sort of course that you can overpower in the way that he does. I also just want to shout out. I was like trying to find out South Africans playing the Masters and cheap as Oaks. AI is pretty atrocious at picking these things up. So at first it told me, actually, I've still got this open. So I went through ChatGPT and I was like, no, ChatGPT is bullshit. So then I went to Gemini and I was like, right, who is South Africans playing? And then it was like 2026, Charles Schwartzel, Tristan Lawrence, Aldrich Potgieter. So then I was like, but Casey Jarvis won the SA Open. Does that only give him a Masters berth for 2027? Oh, they're like, oh, no, yeah, Casey Jarvis is actually also in. So then I'm like, wait, hang on. You didn't mention him in the 3 SA players for this year. So who are they? I don't know. There are 4 players playing. Charles Schwartzel, Aldrich Potgieter, Casey Jarvis, and Eric van Rooyen. So I'm like, okay, but Eric van Rooyen's in now. What's happened to Tristan Lawrence? You can just see Gemini's losing its shit. It's like, no.
Bobby Lock.
100%. So it's like, no, these are the official, and it even gives you like player and how they qualified. Charles Schwartzel, past champion. Tristan Lawrence, top 50 official world golf rankings. Aldrich Potgieter, PGA Tour winner. Casey Jarvis, SA Open winner. And then it's like, why the confusion happened and etc. But it still got it wrong, even though it's like at the end of all of this, it's still wrong. So anyway, I have confirmed that there are only 3 South African players. Tristan Lawrence, Eric van Rooyen shall not be playing. But yeah,
Thanks,
I would still pick Casey Jarvis over
AP.
And I'd pick him over Eric van Rooyen and Tristan Lawrence as well.
Yeah. Fair.
I had an argument today with Gemini about the fact that Gemini was insisting that Scotty Scheffler won the Masters last year, and I was like, absolutely did not win the Masters. I was like, and then it's like, oh no, you're quite right. You're quite right. It was actually Rory that won the Masters. I'm like, yeah, no shit, man. I was fucking watching. Yeah, it's not great with stats and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, you've got to fact check some of that stuff. I'd love to know. I reckon so many guys are doing like their golf champs team through like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like give me the most optimal, which is super boring, Oaks. By the way, if you are doing that, then you're fucking lame. Like just get a life and pick your own Oaks, because that's the whole point of the game. Okay, who's next? I've lost track where we are.
Pretty sure it's me.
Yeah,
and I'm doubling, eh?
You got 2 to round out your team.
This is an amazing time to have 2. No, not to round out my team. I've only picked 3, bro.
Yeah, so you get 5. So you get 2 picks to round out. I'm missing
you've
one.
You got top 10 and above 50.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, thank you. Speaking of AI, above 50, it was telling me Vijay Singh, Fred Couples, Jose Maria Olazabal. Yeah, so anyways, for my top 10, I genuinely, like, I can't do it, but I'll tell you that I thought about him. I think Matt Fitzpatrick might be a great differential pick in the top 10. I think that's one of those. It's like, choose him, but there's just been so many times where he's been tiptoeing on greatness and kind of never really backed it up. So I'm going away from data and form and into my heart again, and Tommy Fleetwood as my top 10 pick. I don't need to tell you why. I mean, the hair, it's got to be the haircut. It's absolutely perfect. He's just, really coming into his own as a golfer, as a dude. I think he's coming in with loads of confidence. He finally has a kit sponsor, which helps as well. I think coming in backed by a kit sponsor is better than coming in with Pick and Pay No Name on his back. I just love Tommy, so that's a simple one for me. It's kind of the first one I wanted, and I'm glad no one took him. And then, what's my last one? My over 50.
Just a side note on Tommy. I've kind of enjoyed him shopping at like the local pro shop every week.
Yeah, very cool.
It's been pretty good quality, and I liked how that new sponsor of his kind of worked that into his announcements for his sponsor. But I was reading his press interview yesterday, earlier today, and he was talking about how he's like still buying shit at like the Augusta National like pro shop.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be surprising to see him out there in like a Augusta National like shirt or something on the first couple of days.
Yeah, he's just
Quality oak.
just the dude. He's just the dude, bro. I really, as you can tell, like I've gone more heart over head, which is the theme of our live conversation at the beginning, and I'm going to stick with that with somebody else who looks like they've played in the front row, somebody else who's kind of slightly duck-footed, somebody else who's from our neck of the woods in terms of hemisphere, and my over 50 pick is 51. Number 51, Ryan Fox.
Nice.
I think Ryan Fox, length and accuracy off the tee could put him in a pretty good spot to go on some birdie streaks. I like the way he plays golf. I like the way he builds his rounds. I just think 51 is a good shout when you're looking outside the 50. So that's me.
So on my golf champs, he's at 47.
Is he?
I hate to do it to you after such a nice speech.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Well, then I'm going to go for number 222, Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith.
Where's he on your golf champs? What's wrong? My golf champs, bro.
Cameron Smith's at 59.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Shot, Cam Smith. There we go. I had to stay in our hemisphere.
That's a good pick.
I need to send you my screenshot of Ryan Fox at 51 on mine, by the way.
It's concerning it's are you on ChatGPT by any chance?
Absolutely not.
It's concerning that it would be getting it confused like that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you now. It's not great, but I'm happy with Cam Smith anyways.
JDV, are you going to take a top 10 pick now?
Yeah, I cannot believe that Rory McIlroy is still there. I do. I have said that it honestly, it could, Demi, what you said about Brooks could be similar for Rory. I mean, he's got the monkey off his back, but at the same time, I think he's going to be inundated with media and distractions. But at the same time, it's Rory McIlroy, Oaks. He's defending champion. He's Rory fucking McIlroy. He's still on the board, and I'm going to take him.
Mate, it's a ballsy move to release a documentary beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think this.
But I think that is the reason none of us have taken him. I think we're all thinking it's like, is Rory actually going to go out and sort of perform to the level, or is it just like that exhale? Okay, I've done what I needed to do here, so I need to just like walk this one in. But you look at his stats, you talk about the data. I mean, he is trending all over the show in terms of where his stats are. So, I mean, he's Rory McIlroy. Maybe the fact that he does have the monkey off his back means he's going to play with the freedom that he's always says he's going to play with. But certainly, if it's still on the board, he's mine. T, you've got a very interesting selection of what I can see. Three great players to round out your team.
It's such dregs left over. I was just looking at Rory's season. Yeah, he finished last time he played T46 at the Players, and then he withdrew with that. I think he had like a back injury.
Yeah, back, that's not good
at
for
the
me.
APR.
I feel like back injuries always wreck my rig on these picks. That was it's taken me a couple of times.
Okay, guys. So from what I can see here, I've got the choice between Mike Weir, Bubba Watson, Brian Harmon, and Matt McCarthy. I just Googled Matt McCarthy's, on my screen is literally the only oak in the whole of Golf Champs who doesn't have a photograph. I don't know if it's the same as on your screen, JDV. And Rasmus Neergaard Peterson. And a few of the oaks down on the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
But I did Google Matt McCarthy. I don't think I could pick Matt McCarthy out of a lineup. And certainly not here that I can't see his photograph. But he is definitely a left-hander. I mean, we know that. So, I mean, is it him or Brian Harmon? I mean, that's very tough.
Not really.
I think I'm going to take Matt McCarthy because I just couldn't live with myself if I had to pick Brian Harmon. I mean, there's just, even though Brian Harmon has probably got a better record at Augusta and certainly has played there a lot more, I just can't do Brian Harmon, I'm afraid. There's just no way. I think it'll hurt me too much in the public eye, even though I think I'll get sort of marked down on the fact that I've got pretty much a random in the team.
Yeah.
Okay, so Demi, can you just walk us through your team, please, with the category that you picked each guy in?
For sure. I'm going to start with an apology pleading to our viewers, our listeners. Ryan Fox overall world ranking 51, not golf champs. Sorry about that, fellas.
That's okay.
But
Apology.
left hand Bobby Mack, because he's not McCarthy or Harmon. Past champion Hideki Matsuyama. Southern Hemisphere and past champion Adam Scott, but picked for the Southern Hemisphere for my side.
That's a good pick.
Tommy Fleetwood as my top 10 because Tommy Fleetwood. And then just because I'm a massive fan, he's a short game wizard and has been around the block in this neck of the woods. Mr. Cam Smith, Ripper GC. So Bob, Hideki, Adam, Tommy, and Cam. I love that.
I would like to have a beer with the five of those guys. It's a nice mix of people there. JDV, walk us through your team, please.
I'm quietly happy. I think I might get the popular vote here for mine. I've got top 10 Rory McIlroy, past champion Scotty Scheffler, lefty Akshay Bhatia, Southern Hemisphere Casey Jarvis, and outside the top 50 Gary Woodland. I'm quietly confident in that team. Both aspects of that team, the popular vote and the...
You're playing for some emotional votes there. Yeah.
TBag, I won't lie, bro. The fact that we let him get Scotty and Rory is a bit annoying.
It's a bit damning, eh? You had the first pick, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You picked Bobby McIntyre as your first pick.
Come on, son. I back myself. That's a hell of a pick out the gate.
I was on defense. Okay, guys. My team is top 10 player Bryson DeChambeau, past champion John Rahm, Southern Hemisphere Jason Day, left-hander Matt McCarthy, who the F is he, and above 50 player Brooks Koepka, who's going to rain down on Demi with a little backdoor top 15, I can tell you now. And that is my team, guys. So I've got, from a physicality perspective, I think my team would eat the rest of your oaks for breakfast. Whether they're the most loved oaks in the world, I guess that we'll let the public decide that.
Well, have you seen how scrawny and tiny Matt McCarty is? See? We don't actually know what he looks like.
I don't know what he looks like.
Matt
all
McCarty.
I know is his name isn't Mike Weir or Brian Harmon. That's all I know about Matt McCarty.
Fair enough. Listen, the Brian Harmon shout would have
no, that would have ended me.
Lost you the popular vote, even if your first three picks were like Jesus himself, and like so. Yeah, I think you made the right call there. You can't.
Demi, last year we did the similar thing, but it was you had to pick for the whole season of majors basically, and nice. I ended up with the biggest douchebags in my team. I mean, JDV backed me up here, but I had Morikawa, I had Russell Henley, Patrick Cantlay. I had Xander Schauffele. I mean, it was the who's who of douchebags, and they all shat the bed, and I lost as well. I lost the season. So shout out to Taki who never organized me to caddy for him, JDV, and the time is basically up. Unless he phones me tomorrow to come carry his bag for 9 holes, he's missed out on a good thing there. I would have made a hell of a caddy, I have to say.
Yeah. Remember, at Liv, we spoke about it. I reckon there's definitely some equity in doing a content series on carrying bags of cool people. Anyways.
Demi, just two things briefly before we wrap up. The one is just on, and I mean, I know I've picked Bryson in my team here, but obviously he's quite a difficult guy to read when it comes to how he's playing and his form and that. I was a little bit concerned about what he was saying about his wedges. And how basically I think it was after the Hong Kong event, he had basically thrown out all of his wedges and he had put his wedges back together. But even in South Africa, it sounded like he was still like feeling his way through them. And when you go to a place like Augusta, it feels like that you've got to have those things like perfectly dialed. Like last year, his wedges were unbelievable at Augusta until that last round.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but it's a bit of a question mark for me. But then again, Bryson's always a bit of a question mark with some of his stuff.
I was going to say, when is he not tinkering? You know, like going to his US Open win, there was, shaft adjustments and playing around with different bounces and stuff all over again. And he went and did that, Bruce. Look, it's just about. I think he's a big player in terms of how he starts. I think like if he starts too hot, he doesn't have enough driving him. I think he's a great chasing player. I think he likes being overlooked. I think he likes being kind of written off. So if he gets off to like a moderate to good enough start, I think whether he's tinkering or he's not, he's playing bloody good golf, bro. I'd love to have him on my side, but I chose somebody else.
And then, Demi, you spoke about caddying and that's just talk a little bit about, you know, what you're going to be up to going forward now and like kind of, I guess, where people can find your content going forward and what some of your ideas that you've got brewing in the golf space.
Sure. I mean, so Silly Goose Country Club. The next, you know, the use of the word country club is intentional. I think like I've been quite inspired by Eric Anders Lang and his random golf club. And, actually I'm focusing on the community building aspect of it at the moment. I want to kind of formalize the actual country club idea and get, my first round of followers, which, geez, it's been amazing. The love I got since Live. I want people to get involved, sign up. I want to send out, membership bag tags and start hosting invitational events where guys and girls that don't necessarily belong to clubs are invited to come and join. I sent out a match play series invite on my Instagram the other day, basically saying who wants to come and play. And I got over 100 responses, which is super kiff. Genuinely quite like humbled and overwhelmed by how cool everyone has been. So I'm just going to carry on being myself. I'm going to play some cool matches against some cool people. Hopefully not long until we play against each other. But I want to build this cool little community of people that are either too afraid to start or people who've already started and kind of want to change their perspective on the game. The Silly Goose thing is it's not about taking the piss out of golf. It's more about kind of laughing your way through the toughest game on earth because it's flipping terrible. Like we can't be weekend warriors throwing our clubs around anymore. Like we're outside, we with our friends and I just want to make it a welcome environment. So I'm going to be having fun with it basically. No formal plans, but I'm going to be enjoying a lot of golf, hopefully with some cool people. And if it sticks, it sticks.
That's awesome.
Well, that's super cool to hear, Brian. I think you're gonna put some awesome content together. As I said, I think your ability to pull information out of people in a light-hearted way is going to work so well on the golf course. So, dude, super excited to keep following the journey. Please, we started an inaugural event last year down here called the Masters, which you'd think we would do it around the actual Masters, but I think we ended up doing it in October or November, JDV. But essentially it's a little path, it's a social day on like a Mashi golf course here in KZN and Hillcrest, and it's a lot of fun. So hopefully you can come down for that, bud, and and come and we can do some stuff together. It'll be good fun to have you down here for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, guys, thanks for this evening. I know we went a little bit over our goal of an hour, but that's hardly surprising. It is the Masters. And we did start off with a few soliloquies. So on that note, enjoy everyone. 2026
boys.
Masters
Have
around the
a
corner.
good Masters weekend.
Thanks, Timmy. Thanks, JDB. Till next time, friends.